Welcome back to Lightcraft Academy, a slightly different episode. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, bring guests onto the channel to talk about virtual production. The set, by the way, that I'm using is available in our image library, one of my favorite TV studio sets. I'd like to introduce to you today PHILLIP Moss. PHILLIP Moss lives here in Wales. I first learned of Philip's work during that time in the pandemic when we were all searching YouTube for information on virtual production. Philip had been working on a show for the BBC called Age of Outrage that he pitched to the BBC during the pandemic to produce a show using virtual production, and Philip was beginning his journey in exploring virtual production, learning along the way. And so I would like to introduce you to Philip. We sat down in a coffee shop just a few days ago, and I asked him some questions about his career. First of all, let's learn more about his company, Small and Clever Productions.
I've got this little production company called Small and Clever, which is hopefully sort of sums up what we do. It's a small company, just a few people, but we are sort of clever with the technology, and that's how it came about. So what we've been doing is all sorts of different things: documentaries, music programs, quite a few comedies as well. So that's what led to the Age of Outrage series. It was sort of basically the next comedy that I wanted to make. So we really couldn't shoot in any other way. So I'm trying to sell a comedy series to the BBC and going, well, how are you going to shoot it then? Because locations aren't available. So luckily The Mandalorian had come out just around then, so I was sort of like spending quite a bit of time in my spare bedroom looking at stuff on YouTube, just sort of keeping myself occupied, and this had appeared as a sort of new technology, and I'm quite interested in technological sort of solutions for production. So that was why we chose it in the end, that system.
I also asked Philip to describe, particularly for people who are new to the channel, what exactly is virtual production and how is it different than, let's say, traditional green screen?
Well, the big difference is that if you're talking about the sort of standard green screen shots in the past, they would be fine if you didn't move the camera. But as soon as you move the camera, you realize that the background hasn't changed, but the person in front of it has, the angle's changed. So the big thing is that is it, basically. The camera is tracked, so when you move the camera, the virtual background moves in sync with it. And it's such a simple thing, but when you see it working, you realize how powerful it is.
One thing that we're very proud of with the Jetset app, and as one of our viewers said, it's democratizing virtual production, is it's making, and tools like Jetset are making virtual production available to the masses, to independent filmmakers. And I asked Philip what his thoughts were regarding the availability now of virtual production and virtual production tools that were heretofore unattainable. It's just way too expensive. What are his thoughts on that?
It's brilliant that people can start using this technology, and it's suddenly accessible, not just to the big productions and sort of like, you can dream stuff, you can do stuff that you couldn't do before. You can go, actually, I'll look on the internet, I can actually buy that and get it and use it in a production, rather than sort of restrict your imagination, if you like, by going, oh, I could never possibly do that, and now you can.
You're hearing more and more, particularly if you're really interested in virtual production, there's more and more talk about this technology called Gausian Splats. It's a new way to create 3D worlds. Really a great fit for virtual production because you can capture, even with a cell phone, environments and turn those environments into really legitimate production quality, high resolution images. I asked Philip what his take was on Gausian Splats.
There's quite a bit of an interest in this thing called Gausian Splat, or Gausian Splatting, which is basically scanning with a thing like an iPhone or a LiDAR scanner, a location, which means you can have that in proper 3D. So you can bring that into some software like Unreal Engine and do all the things you can do with virtual sets with this real set, if you like. So that's quite exciting for me, because the idea of having stuff that just has that real look to it. It's got scuffs in the background. Curtains aren't hanging the same way as they hang in a sort of virtual set. There's weird things that you don't even notice when you go into a real room that just make you realize as a human being that this is real and not made up. That suddenly starts to make you think, oh, maybe you can get over that uncanny valley thing that there's always going to be with virtual sets.
So thank you, Philip. Thank you for coming on to Lightcraft Academy. We'll be back here in just a few days. As always, please subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.